Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Ancient Evil's been out for a little bit now. Xbox players are just about to get their hands on the map, and so I thought this would be a great time to release a video compiling a load of pro tips that I've learnt in the last week or so about Ancient Evil, which will just make you enjoy the map more. They're things that I wish I knew the first time I ever played it, and they're just really useful for general ongoing gameplay if this is a map that you like. If any of these end up getting patched out of the game or something, I'll list that info in the description down below, and I'll also credit the people that told me about the various different things on screen as I say them. Also, just so you know, for the next 13 days, I've got Chaos Story Zombies t-shirts available for sale via the link in the description down below, waffles.ownage.com. It's the Blight Father, really gnarly design, go check it out. So, number one, the Ra step of the Easter egg requires you to defend a beam while a bunch of skeletons spawn in and Blight Fathers can spawn in there as well. You can use the Death Gauntlet, that's the Gauntlet of Sharon, to make your life a lot easier. The reason this particular one is so useful is that the blood splatter that you can fire onto the floor actually attracts zombies and locks down Blight Fathers, and so you can fire that out and then switch to your other weapon, pull out your gun, and just lay into the Blight Father and lay into the skeletons uninhibited. I had to pause here because while I was editing this video, Blade Raider said, during the Hemera Hand Ra step, you can run away and the zombies won't spawn to block the laser. If this is true, it is huge, but it also might get patched out of the game, so give it a go and try it at your own risk. It doesn't hurt if you fail, you can just reactivate the step, so worth a go. Number two, you only actually need the Fallen Hand of Gaia, not the Redeemed Hand of Gaia, when you're doing the Easter egg unless you're in a 4-player game. That step where you have to shoot the little roots on the wall to spawn in the Gigeen, I think that's what they're called at least, the geese knees, that only requires you to have the Fallen Hand, so you don't have to go through the full upgrade process in order to get the Redeemed version. If you're in a 1-player game, you can just get whatever other Gauntlet you want instead and get the fallen version of Gaia. So just to be clear, there are 3 levels of gauntlets in the game, right? There's Fallen, which is just the base version before you do that initial trial to get it to Redeemed, and then after Redeemed, you can also upgrade it again to Exalted, but that takes a lot more work and is unnecessary for the Easter egg. 3 is really dang important if you're going all the way through the Easter egg and doing the boss fight, because it's going to get you your special weapon back faster. So the way you're going to be damaging Pegasus in the boss fight is by using your special weapon, right? But once you run out, you can recharge your specialist really damn fast if you run through the puddles of fire that Perseus basically throws at you on a spear. So he'll chuck out flaming spears throughout the entire boss fight, and every time he does, a little fire will land on the floor and stay there, and if you run through that, you'll charge your specialist meter much quicker. Number 4, this is if you're a bit more focused on the story in the game. There are actually a stupidly large number of objects that you can interact with around the world and get information about them. So when you're looking at a mural, for example, and thinking, man, that looks like it's got some cool mythology behind it, hold square on it, because there's a very good chance that the Oracle will actually tell you about what that thing is that you're looking at. Number 5 is that you only actually need 1 epic tribute and 1 legendary tribute in order to ignite the Flame of Apollo, and that Flame of Apollo, that eternal flame, is used in various different areas. It's used to get the Exalted Gauntlets, it's used during the Easter egg, like it's got a couple of different purposes. Now obviously, 1 epic and 1 legendary only applies to solo. If you're in a co-op game, then you're going to need more, and it's basically going to scale by multiplying for the number of players that you have in your game. However, this has been glitchy for some people. For some people, they just don't have this happen in their game for some reason. They do have to do more. I'm not sure why that is, but also you might still want to do multiple epics, and I'll talk about that a little later on. For now though, I'll just say that epics can give you cool things like Pack-a-Punch weapons that legendaries won't give you, and so if in your game you would value a Pack-a-Punch gun much more than you would value just a free unpacked gun, which is what a legendary might give you, then maybe pushing through to epic is a better idea anyway. 6 is that during the Easter egg, you have to do a load of tributes in order to get through and get that eternal flame lit, right? But you can make your life a lot easier and end up doing the egg at a much lower round if you just make sure that when you get a tribute that requires you to kill, you just don't do anything. Just let the time expire and skip it and wait for a tribute that requires you to just stand in a certain area and hold a position, which you don't need to kill for, or that requires you to do some other non-killing task like taking damage and recovering, things like that. This genuinely makes a huge difference in your game, because if you're trying to get a bunch of epics, you're going to go through quite a few trials in order to get there, and you could end up burning an extra 5 rounds or more completely unnecessarily if you're doing all those killing trials. Now, obviously, for balance here, I should note that you're going to be spending money and then not using the challenges you're spending the money on if you play this way. And so you are going to still want to be earning points from some other stuff, and that's probably going to mean that you are going to need to kill a bit. So it's a bit back and forth. You'll want to kill a bit during the challenges to get more money, but you also don't necessarily have to get all of them from the killing challenges. You can afford to wait out a couple challenges and do other things in that time if you want to keep the round lower. Number 7 is really damn useful, and this applies whether you're trying to do the Easter egg at a low round or just fast or at all. If you do the Sentinel artifact and then start doing trials or tributes or whatever you want to call them without opening the rest of the map, the trials that you get will be restricted to the area of the map that you have open. And this means that you're only going to have kills in a certain location in basically one spot, I think, the bridge, or you're going to get all the other kinds of challenges that are much easier to do and you can do them anywhere. And so by doing this, you basically avoid the really annoying eventuality of being in one part of the map and then getting a trial to do in the complete opposite end of the map in the underworld or vice versa. It's such a waste of time having that happen, but by doing this, you can circumvent it completely. Now, another pro tip in this same point is that if you go to the underworld, you go to that underground area, and you don't open the portals to go home, so you don't open Pack-a-Punch or anything like that, then the same effect applies. You can start challenges and you'll only get them in that area, and again, it can just streamline your whole process. Number 8. For the light gauntlet, that's the Gauntlet of Hemera, you basically have to melee a ball of light after you've shot some mirrors, and then run that ball of light before it expires to the Shrine of Hemera. Now, it can happen while you're doing this that your light expires while you're running, even though you basically ran directly there from the bowl. And so to make sure that it never expires for you in your game, just bear in mind that you can actually melee those balls from a fair distance away. Like, you can be really diagonal from them, and then do the melee and run to the shrine, and that'll just give you about an extra second or so to get it in there before it expires. Number 9. I'm running out of fingers. 9. There we go. That's a thumb. Still. 4. 9. There. Fingers. You've all seen the boss fight, I'm sure, at this point, and you've all seen probably that it takes quite a long time to complete, but it will take you significantly less time if you use the chakrams. I know that might sound a bit weird because I personally never used the chakrams in Black Ops 4, but if you use the whirlwind, like level 3 attack of the chakrams, it just does a lot of damage to the boss, and it's what I've been seeing speedrunners doing in their games. Highly recommend the chakrams for this. Personally, I'm not a big fan of them, but they do a lot of damage to the bosses, and so they're recommended. Number 10, where hey, the Oracle can give you ammo and health as you're playing. It will happen randomly, but it's worth bearing in mind if you're thinking about buying ammo before a boss fight or something like that. So let's say a hypothetical situation, you're playing in the map and you're getting low on ammo for your Pack-a-Punch Mozu, right? What you might want to do is just spray out the remains of the ammo instead of buying ammo for it straight away when you think about it, because in the time that you're spraying out the ammo, the Oracle might see you're getting low on ammo and go, you know what, I'm just gonna give it to you for free. The health thing is obviously much less predictable. You can't really play with that as part of a strategy, but it's just worth knowing that that can happen as well. The Oracle will reward you. Number 11 is that the Oracle's rewards can kind of be manipulated to give you things you want. So in the Oracle reward pool for those epic rewards, you've got some really, really awesome things like free perks and also self-revives. Now, those can obviously make a huge difference to your game. I mean, it's like getting a gold revive thing in Apex, but things like getting the Pegasus Strike for free is a little bit less interesting, right? And so doing things like making sure you've built the Pegasus Strike before you claim your epic rewards, and also doing things like equipping a shield, because sometimes the Oracle just gives you a shield, that will mean that you have a higher likelihood of getting the other epic rewards, such as a Pack-a-Punch gun, which can be like a SWAT. There's a couple of guns in there, but the SWAT I think is the best one. And then also self-revives and perks, like I mentioned, is just generally a good idea. Like, that's something that I definitely recommend. Number 12, the islands in the boss fight always get destroyed, or at least they usually get destroyed, as far as I've seen, in the same order. And so the forest island will get destroyed first, and then it kind of goes in a clockwise circle. The kind of pillars temple-y island gets destroyed next, and the final island that's a little bit more open in the middle is the one that gets destroyed last, or rather it never gets destroyed because that's where you kill Perseus. Tip number 13 is something that I mentioned in my guide, but I'm going to say it again here anyway because I think it's a really useful tip. If you need an electric catalyst zombie for Hemera's shrine as part of the exalted gauntlet upgrade, then you can force a spawn of one of those things by getting to the scepter and sundial step of the Easter egg. That's the Ra step of the Easter egg. That will force spawn in an electric catalyst, and so you'll absolutely be able to bring one right over to the shrine and get things moving there. Obviously, catalyst spawns are random normally, so this is only really useful if you don't have specifically an electric one. On that note, I also guess it's worth mentioning that you can absolutely get the kills that you need on those shrines with regular guns. You don't need to get them with the gauntlets, which can make things a bit easier too. And you can also go away for a bit, come back, and keep filling the shrine with souls, and you'll still be absolutely fine. Okay, that's all 13 of my pro tips and tricks for Ancient Evil. Hopefully these ideas have all been useful. Drop a like if they have been. And also, if you've got some pro tips for the map, let me know in the comments down below, and I can either make a part 2 for this video, or I'll just put them in the description, and then that way everyone can read them straight away and see if anything might be useful for them to be doing in their games. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been MrRoflWaffles. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
P.S. Shirt reminder. Go, go, go.